Hello everybody, I'm Simulator aka Trey. I'll be doing a Leon A standard unscripted rambling guide. It's gonna be a little bit long and we're gonna redo some sections. I'll try to get in depth as much as I can about this whole run. But yeah, let's get started. I might miss some stuff. I do have some other guides. Specifically, I have a menuing guide, keyboard and menuing guide. So and some other stuff. So check out my YouTube if you're interested in those other stuff. Yeah. If you guys don't already know about shift boosting, there's no actual proper guide for shift boosting yet, but I do explain it in one of my older Claire rambling guides. Basically, whenever you go off cutscenes, you want to time your run button instead of holding it. So here, I'm going to hold forward, so I'm going to tap shift the moment I get control. It gives you a little bit of a faster start. And you can do this in a lot of sections. Whenever you use a key and you get the animation, or whenever you, after a cutscene, just timing the shift. The hardest part is getting down the rhythm for timing the shift button. But you know, it comes with time. So here you can see my keyboard inputs up there. You can see I'm timing my shift press here. Alright? So it gives you just a little bit faster start the movement speed. You can do another one here.
You alright? Don't move. I'll be back for you.
And then the third one right here.
Freeze! I'll shoot!
The main thing, obviously, the gas station isn't that complex. You pick up the key, you go backwards, you shoot Frank in the head, alright? You can sometimes have a little bit different reactions to it. And more often than not, you wanna use a mouse to fling on the first key there. Because there's a... For some reason, the very first menu of this game has a little bit of input delay. So when I use mouse to scroll over the key instead, they'll get a little bit faster key usage. You can get like 42 gas stations if you do things right and correctly. But yeah, just takes practice. 42-second gas stations. Here, you're basically holding D, okay? And you pressing shift boost and flinging your mouse to the right at the same time. So, shift boost to the right and fling your mouse to the right. This guide will mainly cover the current world record strats. So, mainly knife only. But I will go a little bit off on like some of the safety items that you can pick up during the run.
There it is. The station.
Here, running past this zombie, I basically aim at the front of this car right here. I think it's like a black car, it's kind of hard to see. But I basically take a direct line towards this car here. And if the zombie here walks straight forwards, I can just keep running straight. If he turns toward me, I can kind of do a little bit of right juke. So I basically run kind of close enough. When he aggroes, I press right. I kind of go on the right side of him. So let's see what happens here. He's turning towards me, so I'm running a bit right and turning back left. And in this case, you can, more often than not, you take a little bit right around this zombie and then run to the gate, and you should more often than not be fine with this one. It's a little bit random sometimes, so it should give you a way more consistent entrance here. There's quite a bit of varying RNG depending on how good your movement is. So you're just gonna have to keep practicing that entrance part quite a bit. Or like, well, you will get practice when doing that entrance. Because basically every run you have to go through the streets. But that's kind of the basic principle that I try to do every time. Run towards the car, the front of the car. And then depending on the RNGs, I either just keep running straight or go right juke. And then around when running towards the gate, I do a little bit like right turn in the around the zombie and then just run to the gate. And it should give you a pretty consistent entrance here. So the run nowadays is pretty much just using pistol and knives, so it's really important to not lose any knives. There are basically, you can lose a knife, but it's just a bit extra time loss.
Open this goddamn door!
So from this cutscene, if you've not done this skip before or you don't know how it works, basically you want to go right towards this door, and after this first knock happens on this door, you just need to pause the game before the second knock happens at any point. And then this should mean that the zombie will come through the door on the next knock. So after you hear the knock and see the door knock, pause the game, and that means you should be able to run, or the zombie should come through this door faster, and then you can just pass him. The way I like to position myself is I bump in the corner of the shelf here, I stop, and then I take a tiny little step backwards. So bump here, a little bit backwards, and then run past the zombie. Sometimes you can see the zombie be stuck in this room. It means he won't ever be a problem later on in the run. So let's try this section again. So last time we saw the zombie exiting with us, but if I'll do the movement a little bit better, let's try this again. So I bonk here. Once I unpause, I aim and take a big, small step backwards, and then run past him. Let's see. Okay, again, he came out. This is something you can kind of get consistently lock him into the room, but on Leon it's way harder. So let me see if I can just get it on this time around. You just gotta get this movement really quickly past the zombie, which is the tough part. Alright, like this time around, now he's locked in that room, and we know he won't be a problem later on.
Jesus, they're everywhere.
I should explain this part again as well. So, when running past those two zombies... Let me get there first. Okay, he's trapped again. Good to know. So I basically run in the kind of middle line here straight. And then when I get close enough to the lady zombie, I'll just press right a little bit while holding forwards. And I'll kind of do a little bit of juke to the right. That should be enough to get through this section. The moment like the lady zombie aggroes, you press right.
Come on. Does anyone know what started this?
That should give you basically consistent section every single time there, because I know sometimes some people have aggro, like they both aggro at the same time or something like that. Just run in the kind of in the middle of the hallway, and when the lady zombie aggroes, go to the right a bit.
I imagine my first day.
So next, just gotta avoid the hanging zombie here. Gotta really hug this wall on the right. Take optimal lines, keep hugging the walls. It's really important. You actually lose quite a bit of time if you keep kind of not doing your movement that optimally. Like if you just keep kind of willing-walling left, right and center all the time. Going up the stairs here, you can basically tell the zombie's position by listening to the sounds. So if you hear the zombie aggro before, or if you hear the zombie aggro while you're on the stairs, it means he'll basically kind of... I guess I can show. Let's see what happens here, first of all. Okay, we didn't hear the zombie aggro, which means he'll be slowly walking here and coming behind the, like a pole. And I'll just need to shoot him on the left side here. So here, he will always do this RNG where he kind of walking towards and his head will be right around here. This obviously might depend how well you do your movement. This is just kind of based on my experience, and when I do this movement same way always, this is what happens. Let me roll out the checkpoint and see if we can get the other RNG happen. In the other RNG, if you hear the zombie aggro on the stairway, he will walk into the stairway, and you gotta be kind of ready to shoot him there. There's a couple other variations if the zombie aggro, turbo. And then it's a bit more random. But obviously for this guide... Okay, now we heard him aggro. So what will happen? He will actually turn and be on this stairway here. I need to be ready to shoot him there. So he's kind of gonna be here instead. Sometimes you can squeeze in front there, but this time not. Also, this guide will focus on going back down the stairs route. There is another route, which is library route. If you want to see how the run goes, I'd suggest you watching something like Nick's Issues, or maybe even Lucy Lover, I think. They're both running the library route. But I'm gonna do the route I've done in my world record run. This might be a bit harder. Actually, when you pick up the spade key, make sure you place it here, alright? And then when going down, this route is harder because you need to shoot way more zombies in this route. And if you're really bad at getting quick optimal shots, it's quite tough. Let me redo this section one more time so I can talk a little bit more things, because there's a lot of things that, especially on this stairway on Leon, that can happen. So let's see, let's go up first of all. See what RNG we get. No aggro, so he's gonna be behind the pole here and we shoot him. So this time I'm actually gonna pick up the key on the right slot. While I pick it up, place it down here. And now, so sometimes this zombie marks here, he will fall down once you're going down the stairway. And that means he'll be a problem later on in the run. But on this specific RNG, if you see the zombie in this part of the stairway and we stagger him here, he's very less likely to gonna fall down. So this is actually good RNG, having to shoot this zombie down here while he's on this stairway. So we shoot him here. Okay. Let's pretend we shot him there. It should mean he won't fall down, but actually now he might actually fall from all the way up there. Let's hope he doesn't, okay? Sometimes this zombie can be kind of walking towards the window here, and you can basically just squeeze by right here. But it just depends. There are a lot of some variation with these zombies depending how well you move. Sometimes when you come to this section, there's gonna be a zombie here. So when you run this corner, make sure that you have your camera angled a little bit to the left so you can see a bit beforehand, is there anybody here? If you don't see anybody by this point, when you see this mailbox here, you're fine. You can just, take the straight line. But just good to keep in mind. Get down here, use the key. And hit the cutscene. Another shift boost here. We go up. The usual quick turns. We're soon gonna do our first menuing here. And I'm gonna really focus on the way I'll do my menus in this run. Obviously, I do find them to be the most optimal ones for the run. But okay, I just realized. So, this helicopter crash, this should work, okay? Let me make a check. I do have a trainer program on at the moment, which allows me to just kind of save and retry sections a bit more. And I completely forgot to use the trainer program to make a save before this crash. But anyway, about this helicopter crash, the timing, you can basically avoid this stagger animation by aiming to the side. Well, not avoid, but you can make it less time loss by aiming to the side when the crash happens. The reason why I didn't get staggered there because of the trainer program I'm using. But basically the timing to aim the side is around these two pillars here. And this is obviously, if you bump up your movement a little bit on this corner, it's not gonna be the same timing. But if you come through the door here and get your movement cleanly, the timing is gonna be between those two pillars right here. Like around this part you aim to the sideways and you basically get knocked backwards. So you don't get knocked back, but you get knocked sideways. Then you lose distance. Let me take this autosave. Okay, it's here. Okay, that's good then. That's good. I can show that case. Showcase that thing now. Kind of don't remember all this. Actually, let's speed up a little bit, okay? Okay, so here we go. The movement is gonna go like this. And then around the pillars, we aim to the side. We're fine. The way I like to do my menus here. It doesn't matter do you pick this up first or not, but you can pick this up. Then you discard the key and you move the pistol over the bolt cutters. This is the way I like doing my inventory.
I'm surrounded by zombies.
And this makes the bolt cutters on first slot because we're gonna use it the next 3 times here.
Damn it.
So, depending earlier in the run, if you lock the zombie in this room or not. If you didn't lock the zombie into this room, there is a lot of many RNG places he can be. He can be right behind the door. He can be like a little bit more further up. He can be standing here. He can be standing at the end of the hallway there. There's a lot of places he can be. But it's good to know that if you can see while you do the exit that you locked him, you know there's not gonna be anything behind this door when you go through it, okay? So, for example, we did lock him, so we just know we can freely go through this door here. Next, we're gonna pick up the valve and the fuse. Get the door. You can do another shift boost here. It's a bit tough one to get used to. Also, one thing I don't think I explain in a lot of my menuing guides, but I actually use my right hand on arrow keys more often than not. If I can get the straight line to the thing I'm gonna interact with, I'm gonna let go of my mouse hand. I'm gonna put my hand on the arrow keys themselves, alright? And I'm gonna use my arrow keys to move the menus. But this is kind of just a personal preference. Like, I let go of the mouse hand completely and I just use my right hand to do the menus instead when I want to use quickly an item. For example, here, I'm gonna use the fuse. And then I'm gonna go back holding the mouse. But I will be doing this a lot in all my menus. I let go of the mouse hand and use my right hand on the arrows keys to do the menus quickly. So this hallway is famous for bagels. Bagels is the name of a zombie. When you want to run, there's a zombie behind this corner, first of all. To consistently not get screwed, just take a line kind of towards here. And then turn once you're like a little bit past the midway of like this little square here. They won't get grabbed. So Bagels is the yellowest zombie right here. And he can be in a lot of places. He can be in this hallway. He can be standing in the corner here. He can be right behind the corner here. It's gonna just come down to a lot of like... You have to run this a lot to realize what you can do. I'm gonna go through a couple examples here by just... Hold on. First of all... Can I make these enemies not aggro me? Hold on. Let me use... this tool to make enemies chill. Enemy. Disable enemy AI. Sounds good, alright. Okay. You chill? Alright, you chill. Okay, the zombies are doing nothing, but I'm gonna talk about different things that can happen in this section, alright? So sometimes, if they're bagels, which is this zombie, can be in this hallway, and if he's looking towards you... Oh my god, these zombies are annoying. Hold on. Can you just ignore player? Thank you. Sounds good. Can you shut off? Thank you. Good. So if the bagels is looking towards you in this hallway, you always have to shoot him to get past him. But sometimes you can see bagels kind of standing in the side here, looking towards the wall. That means sometimes you're able to kind of run on the right side past him without doing a shot. But this is risky, so just know. And basically every shot you do is about 0.3 seconds to a bit more, depending how long you take with your shot, okay? If you do it like really quickly, instantaneously, and hit it quickly, it's about 0.3 seconds. But just keep that in mind. Sometimes the zombie bagels is right behind the corner right here, and it means you're just fucked, okay? You're gonna get bit. And that's fine. This is one of the only hard RNGs if this in this game with zombie positions, which means you're just screwed. Okay, I may be lying, but you can maybe make it safely if you run on the left side here and be ready to instantly walk backwards, but it's so slow that you just might as well restart, okay? There's a reason why I call this yellow corner. You always just run on this right side here and just quick turn and hope for the best. The other positions behind this corner where bagels can be... Well, sometimes he's further in the hallways. More often than not, if he's kind of on the side here, you can just run quickly past him. Also, I don't know how you came here, but it's fine. For the purposes of tutorial, I had to go a little bit in depth on all these different zombie positions. Okay, let's enable the AI again and redo this section normally, alright? And see what RNG we get. More often than not, if you survive RPD 1 with 2 bullets, that's the bare minimum you need to continue the run, basically. 2 bullets is what you need at the end of RPD 1. End of RPD 1 is basically when you put all the medallions into the statue there. Alright, let's see what happens with bagels. Take the line here. We have him in the way, so we just gonna have to shoot him and continue. Nothing else we can do. Then we use the bolt cutters here. You could technically discard these bolt cutters here, so you can put the bomb in the first slot. But whenever you do menus, you want to do as many things as possible. So if you can, don't discard this item yet, because you're gonna have to discard this bed key a bit later on as well. So you want to discard both items at the same time. This will put the bomb here, which is a little bit awkward place if you're not used to the menus, but it's up to you. This is the most optimal way though, and you also want to pick up this flashbang right here. Sometimes when you come through this, you have this zombie here. This zombie name is Donuts. He's the one who's banging the vending machine right here usually. But he can be here, and this zombie Can be facing a lot of different ways. Basically, whenever he's facing towards the left wall here, you more often than not need to shoot him. In any other case, you can kind of maybe squeeze by the left side here and just go past him. In this case especially. But this just comes down to experience and just playing a lot and understanding when you can make it and when not. It's good to know. And if this Mark zombie, if you remember in the spade key section when we went up the stairs here, went down, if he fell down, he can be in this hallway. So whenever you go through this corner, you gotta make sure you're ready to shoot here, because he can either spawn right here or he can spawn further in the hallway. So for example, this time there was a good RNG where he was standing up as we went behind the corner. That's a free pass basically. But when I go through this corner, I basically keep my camera angle like this and be ready to shoot in case he's there. Obviously sometimes the bad combination of donuts and marks can mean you're just screwed, eh? If they're both like... If you try to run past donuts and Mark is right there ready to grab you, he's just screwed. This is another kind of an annoying RNG check, but you know. This time we have this standing up animation with Mark, so we're fine. Can always pass on the right side of that zombie. And here again, I'm letting go of my mouse hand to do the menu. And here we come to the liquor, eh? This liquor... I don't actually... I've been running Claire hardcore, so I don't exactly remember how I react to this liquor, but more often than not in standard, it's just safe to look at the liquor. It slows him down, and you should be fine most of the time. So the way I do this section, go through the door, quick turn, pick up the battery and combine it with the bomb as I pick it up. Go through the door, look at the liquor. Okay, we got leaked. That's fine. Happens sometimes. We go do the puzzle solution. One thing to note when you're coming through this section, if you have at least a little bit decent graphics, like if your game isn't super like pixelated, you should be able to make the shapes of these tiles while you're running towards them. And while you're running towards them, you can basically give yourself a little bit of idea what direction to rotate. Usually what I do here is I pay attention to the first icon here. So I see it's a snake while I'm running towards it. And I already know it's 3 rotations either way. And this case I can actually make up the whole puzzle also. This bird is 3 rotations either way. Bird is 1 rotation pressing up. So basically I can kind of, while I'm running towards this solution here, I can pick up the shapes and do this puzzle while I'm looking, like running towards the puzzle itself. As I'm going through the door here, pick up the knife. We move this shelf. It makes RPD2 shelf moving a lot more safer. Okay, here I'm gonna show 2 ways of doing this section. Let me actually do a manual save here. There we go. So I'm gonna show you the way I do it, which is the harder one. And then the easier, way more consistent one, which is just like tiny bit slower. So when you put this bomb in, pick up the bag. You run out of the doorway, so your both feet are out, and then you run back in instantly. I run towards the wall, and the moment I basically stop running, I start aiming, and I kind of curve to the right while aiming towards the bomb. So, perfect demonstration. Let's do that again. It's been a while, okay? I've been running Claire. perfect demonstration. And then run. It gives you just tiny bit faster angle to the medallion. Now the easy way, the super easy one, is just run out, pick up the bag, run out all the way, wait the door closes and run in instantly, and just run here. This should give you really consistent, pretty decently fast way of getting to this without not being knocked by the bomb ever. Obviously, the solution here, I guess I didn't talk about the puzzle solutions, but you hopefully saw them. This one is a lady, bow, snake. This puzzle specifically can give a little bit of troubles to people, like, cause some of these icons are like a little bit worn out, so it's harder to make them by. It's easy to sometimes recognize the pieces that are not worn out, where you can actually see the icon to kind of give you an idea what direction to rotate. In this one, best specific, the branch means it's one rotation, kind of different ways. If you see the branches on the last two here, it's no, like here, you need to press one down, and here, one up. But yeah, it just, you know, obviously puzzles, you need to practice a lot to get them down quickly. Here, when the liquor drops down, just look up in the ceiling, you won't ever get hit. If you look at him, sometimes he can lick you when you look at him. So it's a lot safer to just look up into the ceiling when doing that section. That will basically guarantee he won't ever lick. Alright. When it comes to this ladder, there can be 1, 2, or 3 zombies hanging underneath the ladder here. Because I've been reloading the checkpoint a little bit, these zombies are acting a little bit weirdly. But normally you would see zombies usually around here. If there's 2 zombies down here, you can always just safe to go down. When it's 3 zombies, hope for the best, alright? You're most likely gonna get grabbed here in that case, because usually 2 of the zombies... 2 zombies can aggro at the same time, and the 3rd zombie will delay their aggro. So it's really hard to kind of make through this section. You can kind of do a ladder juke here. If you see 3 zombies, you go down. And when the first 2 zombies aggro, you go up and down instantly. That's your best bet to save the run, if you still want to save it. But yeah. Other than that, after you're done with the ladder, run the door here. And you have the last puzzle to do here, but before you do the last puzzle, here is where you want to discard both of these items. So if you want, hold on until discarding these 2 items, but if you discarded like the bolt cutter earlier, you probably want to discard the spade key here for good inventory. Here it's a lion, branch, bird solution, and go back down the stairs. In this case, we are 3 bullets. This is fine. 2 is the minimum you need, assuming you hit your shots. So, or run to the bottom. Lever right down. Make sure you've not accidentally equipped the flash. All right. Very important that you do not lose your knives. If you want, you can technically lose a flash. If you now run around RPD, just hold flash as a defensive item. There's a couple extra flashes you can pick up during the run. But it's fine if you use a flash as a defensive item instead of a knife, because knives are the important ones. We're gonna do another save here, because I'm gonna explain the way I do this fight. So, my way of doing this fight is 7 swings across, 2 swings aiming up to the side, and then rest aiming down. And I'll try to talk about the swing angles while I'm doing them. So, in these first swings, I kind of try to make sure I'm going across the waist, and the end of the knife swing is hitting the arm here. So if we try to do this, you can see the end of the knife swing is hitting the arm area, then 2 up, then instantly down. And while I'm aiming down, I'm trying to make sure that during like the first 2-3 swings, when I start aiming down, I hit the head with my knife swings, okay? Let me try to do that again. Actually, maybe we can put this game on slow motion for this, so it's easier to see. I've never done this, but it'd be interesting. Game speed 50%. Alright. It's the reason for this angle. So this game has a body damage system. Basically legs and hands do the least amount of damage, chest does more, and head does the most. Or head and weak points do the most. There are also basically from certain angles you hit way more hitboxes. So basically your knife swing kind of swings through multiple leg and chest and arm hit angles. So in some angles you just get way more hits. And the most hits happen usually at the very end of the swing, so when the knife is on the right side. So that's kind of the main important thing when you do the knife swings. You want to focus that the end of the knife swing is hitting the bosses. Because sometimes when let's get in this fight itself, okay? And I'll try to do a couple different variations. Okay, actually let me make a save here right now, okay? Now that I moved the shelf away here. So, in this first, like, I bet you could find more consistent knife angles for these first ones, but I found these just to be really easy and consistent. It's just knifing across, and in this way it's very important that you can see the very end of the swing hit here, because this is where most of the hits happen. So if I'm knifing like this and the right side of the swing is not hitting, you're missing out on a lot of damage. So this way I'm getting the full swing across the arc is getting hits. So on the left arm, the middle and the right end of the swing is hitting the arm. Let me reload this save, by the way, to do this again now. So 7 swings across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 2 swings. So in this turning animation, it's really hard to get proper swings in. So I'm mainly focusing on the end of the swing hitting the body here. So that's why I'm aiming up and a little bit to the left. So at least the end of the swing is hitting the body here.
Take it down.
Also, this is not how fast this fight is supposed to go. The slow motion is making way more hits happen. Alright, so I guess I can't use the slow motion here to demonstrate this fight. Okay. Okay, let me put the game speed back to normal. Oh.
Somebody's watching me.
But you basically get the idea. On these first swings,
Words won't work on this
7 swings across, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2 up. And then when I'm aiming down, here, the end of the knife swing kind of clipping through the body. And I'm trying to make sure the end of the knife swing is hitting his head here when I'm aiming down. So this is basically, the knife is clipping through his whole body, getting a lot of hits. And the end of the knife swing hitting head from this super weird angle. So this is why this aiming down at the end is really good.
Take it down. Somebody's watching me.
Mä otan just nyt idea. Et oppilaan. Aloita vaan osana guidea. So, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. That's a horrible fight, but I did miss the head. So you can see it's very specific hitting the head, but the fight you can kind of consistently get this fight to 16 swings if you practice enough. I've not been running this category now, so I'm a little bit rusty. But you can basically, if you get the good knife swings at the very end there, when you start aiming down, you can get this fight down to 16, even 15 very rarely. But that's basically the most in-depth I could go on this boss fight. There is a heal behind this room here in case you need it. And this kind of point it out, because I've seen sometimes people run past it. When they're running in danger or something. Good to know. There's a heal right behind the door on the right. If you wanna be safe in this run, you can pick up an extra bag here. It allows you to basically carry extra healing items or extra defensive items. But the current route we're using, well, you don't need to pick this up with the current route. It's not extra necessary. But for, you know, if you want to feel safe in your early runs, you can pick it up. But it's not needed. After we go up, interact with this parking cars and skip it instantly.
Hey,
Whatever your cancel
I'm not
button
done
is, so
talking to
press
you.
interact and then cancel out. Go after Ada. There's few ways to do this. It's probably just the easiest and safest way without not being too over complex. Just pick up the fucking thingy in here. So just pick it up. I kind of personally like doing this. So this game has kind of a weird interaction range thing where sometimes looking backwards towards the item gives you a little bit extra interaction range. If I'm looking away, sometimes I get a little bit more extra range to pick up an item. So the way, like you can see here, for example, I can't pick this up by now, but if I turn the camera around, I can pick it up. So the way I like doing this afterwards, this cutscene, I basically flip my camera backwards and run like this to pick up the item. But sometimes you can actually interact with this box, but it's just tiny little optimization if you really wanna, you know, min-max everything. And this is how the inventory should be so far, if you've not lost anything. There's gonna be coming up soon a section which is gonna have a lot of variation what you can do. But first we gotta survive the dogs. And, the dog lines are... I'm gonna talk about the dog lines the way I do them. Yet again, there's a lot of like maybe tiny changes that some people like doing with the when the dogs are here, but I found the lines I'm gonna show the most consistent. If you remember about the shift boost, you can do one here as well. It's really hard though. Really hard to get this shift boost down, but it actually saves quite a bit of time. For some reason, like you really stop down there for a long time if you don't get the shift boost. Here, I basically I probably need to test this out here during this run as well, but the line I take is basically I run towards this here. And then I do a stairs gate and interact with this puzzle, because this one you always slow down quite a bit before this angle here. So I always kind of run towards that corner there, stairs gate, closer and interact. And the solution is 2 on the right side. Instantly back up and hug on the right side. Quick turn. Curve around the corner. Through the doors. The quick turns are not necessary. You can just turn around the corners normally as well. This shouldn't really change too much. Here, I kind of... So there's this kind of a mark on the floor here. I kind of run on the right side of it and then I angle to the door. This is probably gonna be scuffed now, but I run here and then take a straight line to the door. As I kind of guessed it was gonna be scuffed, but because I stopped to explain. Let's do that again. So. If you have trouble actually getting hit here by this dog, you can actually take a little bit of a more center line here, and then once the dog has turned towards you, just run on the right side. So a bit more center and then on the right. So, like we talked about previously, the line is on the right side of the pebble. So, not pebble, but this thing here, then to the door. I like quick turning this door and then curving around the next corner. That feels to be the most consistent way for me to get this section cleanly. Obviously sometimes you just get the bad dog behind you who bites you. But this is basically the way I do this section every time, and it's the most consistent way for me. Alright, the hard part. There's a gazillion and different ways of doing this section here. And I'm actually gonna make a manual save here, because I'm scared of the autosave fucking this up. Because I know this way you can actually... Zombie RNG is always RNG if I do a manual save like this. This one, yeah. So if you wanna practice this section, you wanna make a save here. This guarantees the zombie RNG be different every single time you go there. I'm gonna show the way I'm used to doing this section. The way I do this section is I hug the right side while looking a little bit sideways. Once this first zombie aggroes, I shoot this zombie in the head and go interact with the fuse. What this gives us, it gives us the benefit of this zombie recovering fast enough that I can discard my used worn knife from the G1 fight on this zombie, which basically frees up inventory space, so I don't need to discard an item. So the problem with this strat is though, it's really hard. It's really hard to hit the shot correctly. Especially quickly. So, I'm looking down, seeing when zombie aggroes, I shoot him in the head. I put it in the fuse. I pick up the knife. Once I pick up the knife, I press down and interact. So I put the knife one slot down. And then I'm just gonna stand here and use the knife on the zombie here. This basically gives him to recover quickly enough to basically get through the door just in time. The other ways of doing this section, which is a bit more easier and consistent way, I find more often than not, is doing the dodges here. So basically kind of run a little bit curved line to the right, and then when the second zombie aggroes, you do kind of 2 quick turns to dodge the zombie. Okay, this time he actually... this section is incredibly hard to explain. There's so many variations that can happen here. But he turboed towards the door, so in that case I actually didn't need to dodge him at all. I could have just run straight to the fuse. Let's see if I can get this one again. So this would be the kind of more consistent way of doing this section. It's kind of doing these 2 dodges putting in the fuse, picking up the knife. And in this case, you probably just want to shoot these zombies. If you go discard the knife on these zombies, you'll be really slowly out of this doorway and you're just gonna lose time by doing that. I'm gonna try something I've not actually tried ever myself, but I saw a fellow runner, Mondo Mantra, do this. It's basically do a couple shot manips. So once you exit here, I think he does like 2 shots, then he runs out. This will bait these zombies to be out of the way. And then you still have time to use a knife here. But if I understood right, this is a little bit RNG this way. A little bit. I'm not sure if this is like how consistent this is, but I can try this one more time and see what happens here. I guess this can happen sometimes. Yeah. As I said, the dodge is probably the most easiest way to learn. Obviously, if you want to pick up an extra flash, you can just use it here as well. It's a safe way of doing this. Sometimes, if this zombie is facing towards the right wall here, like really this way, you can just run straight to the fuse. But it depends like how good you are at reacting, or maybe if you pause in this section, you can kind of see what direction this zombie is facing. If he's facing any of like this wall or like here, when you go around the corner, you're gonna have to dodge him. But if he's like facing way here, you can just run straight to the fuse. Let me see if I can get that RNG here. If not, I'm just gonna do the... Okay, well, in this case I can actually just run past him. It's hard to, like, it takes practice. Just repeat this section a gazillion times until you can figure out what works, alright? Thing about this zombie, Elliot, if you see him aggro here, if he does this like lunge at you, it means he will be later on a pain in this section when you have to return here. So he will always be in this section and you need to shoot him. So if this zombie is just passive and doesn't aggro you, you should always have a free pass later on. Good things to note when you pass this section. Hey Lionheart, we're recording a guide, so you know. Let me do the way I do this normally. Once a zombie is past me, I try to shoot. Sometimes it's fine, you know. Shit happens. Waste the knife. And this time Elliot didn't aggro me, so he should not be in the way when we're exiting RPD. There's a heal behind the door there, if you ever need one after that section. Sometimes you do get bit there. Understandable. Hopefully you've been paying attention to the inventory, because this inventory is pretty sweet and dope.
Get it, sucker.
We go pick up the big cog here. Goes nicely one slot down. At this point we're still on 2 shots, which is fine. You could have more shots here to feel a bit more comfortable, but this next section though, alright. I've done this one way for so long that I'm not sure if I can do it the other way. But I'm gonna explain the easiest way of doing the strat the way I do it. So once I go around this corner, I aim towards this pipe, or like this metal bar here. I run towards it. The moment I hear this door open, I aim a little bit to the left and interact with this valve here. So I come around the corner, run towards that. When I hear the door open, I turn a little bit to the left. And here I'm just holding right D and running through both of the zombies. This can feel a little bit risky, and it requires practice. So, run towards the pipe, turn a bit left, interact, and hold D, and run through the zombies. If you go too quickly, the lady zombie will aggro you. So there's a reason why I'm not instantly just smashing. So let's see if I'll try to do this like the most quick way I could. So if I'll just run towards that, interact with this valve instantly. If I go through this here, the lady zombie will aggro me, right? So there's a reason why I'm kind of doing this tiny. I hear the door open, and then I turn a little bit and interact instantly. So this is not about like being too quick about pressing this button, eh? Let me make a save here. So I don't need to go down these stairs. So, run towards the pipe here. Turn, interact, go to the right. Squeeze through. If you get to stair skate to this key, and a quick turn, you can squeeze by this door sometimes. This just depends on if you get an optimal interaction with the club key. You can do that, like optimal pickup range. Coming back here though, more often than not you need to shoot the lady zombie here. But as we can see, we could already see this door being open for some reason. Sometimes this door is kind of glitchy and buggy. Sometimes you can even see it just stay stuck open. But we could see there's a zombie on the right side here. There are a few ways to kind of manage this zombie, even if he is there. I've noticed for some reason, if you kind of keep your camera up, aka looking downwards, it kind of makes this zombie outside not aggro you more often than not. But this time we actually saw him was on the right side. I'm gonna run out a little bit to the left while looking down. I'm gonna see if this works. Okay, this time we just had bad luck. And you can actually, this is depending on what this zombie does here, is actually dependent a lot on how you enter this room. Like, more often than not, this zombie is completely fine, the second one. He's not gonna do anything bad to you. We're just gonna do this section a couple of times and see what happens here. The normal angle, I more often than not, if I don't know what's happening, I run a little bit to the right while looking down. But we're getting really bad RNG here. The other way of doing this is the kind of getting in first and then doing this valve second. And somebody in chat said like Nisobi, so interacting with the valve after you come out is easier. It gives you, I guess it gives you more consistent zombies. But I personally, I've not had too much trouble with this way doing it either. I don't know if it actually, this autosave I'm using here is causing these zombies to behave the same way all the time. But the second way is doing is kind of bumping into this wall a little bit and running in a bit delayed. So I'm running here, not instantly going out, going through, because otherwise the lady zombie will bite me. You need to delay it a little bit. And then here I'm just gonna run to the right, interact with the valve. This way of doing it is tiny bit slower. But maybe if you find this more consistent, you can do it. Because in this way, like if you get an optimal this interaction, you basically can almost take a straight line out. And you don't need to do any sidestepping. Like, you don't delay your movement in any point at all. This time we could also even see that zombie, but I could have actually run to the right there, not just been fine a little bit. So, that section, another one you can practice, alright? Being 0 bullets here is fine, like we are. In most cases, if you have more than 2 bullets, shoot them away. Make sure you only have 2 bullets left at this point. So if you have like 4 or 5, bullets, just shoot the bullets away here while waiting. And I guess we want to talk about the Mr. X manip. So there's a way to manipulate Mr. X into doing different attacks, which make passing easier. The 2 ways of passing Mr. X, I'm gonna show them here on the open area. One way is just running towards Mr. X. And once he starts the punch animation, I'm gonna go backwards and then back forwards. So running forwards, backwards and forwards. I was slow, alright, and I got tossed. Let's try that again. I'm pro runner, okay? I'm pro runner, believe me, okay? So run backwards, forwards, okay? I'm totally pro runner. Another thing you wanna practice, eh? Okay, I'm being slow, okay? Don't do the way I do it, just be better, okay? I don't ever do this manip anymore, especially on Leon, because Leon is slow, alright? The second way of manipulating Mr. X is having enough distance and aiming at Mr. X. So if you have enough distance and aim at Mr. X, it will cause him always to do this animation. Okay, if you aim at Mr. X and you stand still, he will always go for the lunge punch animation, which is this one. So we'll always do this animation when you're standing still and have enough distance when aiming. We can abuse that animation by just running past him when he starts it. Because that animation itself has a really late hit happening. So when we aim at him, the moment we see he start the animation, we just run straight forwards. He will basically punch past you. And this is... I'm pretty sure this is the fastest way of getting past Mr. X if you can do this consistently. When I'm running towards, I'm stopping, aiming for a split second and running past him. This is something you just need to practice to get it down well enough. The problem with this is though, if you aim too close by and you start doing this, you're just gonna get punched. So you just gotta make sure you have enough distance. And this is something you can practice kind of the science, learn the distance when to do it. So, and this will basically just give you consistent free pass more often than not. Just gotta make sure there's enough distance. The distance I like to put myself is basically around this crack here. Then I aim at Mr. X and run past him. We go down here afterwards. If you'd have 2 bullets at this point... So, hold on, let me talk about this. So, we're gonna soon pick up pistol bullets here. It's fine if you're 0 or 2 bullets here. You don't want to reload instantly if you're on 2 bullets. What you want to do is you want to do this next shot and then reload. So you basically free up the inventory space. But obviously we're at 0 shots here, so we're just gonna reload right away. There's gonna be a licker coming up in this next section. And we wanna shoot him. That will make him basically disappear from this hallway really consistently. And there's also a way I like to manip this licker to be consistently doing the same exact thing, which should give you more consistent results at this section. So the way this works, when I run in this door, I'm looking down. The moment I hear or see the licker jump on the ceiling, I'm gonna look up and shoot him. You can basically force him to jump to the ceiling by looking down at the floor. Otherwise, if I run and just look straight ahead, he can do kind of a little bit varying things, and he might not always disappear. The most consistent way is just looking down. You see him looking up, And this should basically always make him disappear here. And then we use the keep. You want to discard. Yeah. Rank. Here we're gonna do the main aim manip again. Actually, I need to talk about this section a little bit, because depending on what you do here actually matters a little bit. So depending how you manip Mr. X at this section actually will ripple to the later part of the run. And I'm actually gonna get there first of all, so you can see what I'm talking about. More often than not, you're probably just gonna do the way you feel comfortable and just hope for the best. But basically there is a difference the way you manage Mr. X at that hallway. It will cause him basically be at different points when you go through the library section here, go to the clock tower and come back. Obviously now it's probably gonna be really weird because I kind of stopped there and just memed about a bit. So I'm not gonna have any clue what Mr. X is gonna be doing. I mean back here. But so once we go there, we do the clock tower thingies and come back. Sometimes Mr. X is either climbing up the ladder there, which is the good RNG. Sometimes he's basically comes through the door when I'm like really far away here already, which is like okay RNG. And the worst RNG is the Mr. X is like right here at the door, comes through when you're close by. The worst part about this RNG is Mr. X is basically, he cannot do any animations for a little bit after he's come through the door. So you can't bait him into do a punch attack. Which means you're just gonna have to take the time loss and back up a little bit to make sure you can juke past him. And if you try to run through him when he comes through the door, he's just gonna toss you. So anytime you see Mr. X come through the door here, like when you're about the door here, you wanna just back up, and I like to do the aim manip. So I back up enough to do the aim manip and then run past him, because I think the aim manip can be still done almost instantly after he comes through the door. So like for example here, I can't bait a punch attack here for a little bit. Like, let me see, It seems really slow at the moment. Have I accidentally screwed up his speed? Or not? X-axis, the Mr. X backwards juking is just more about like being really optimal with the movement, like going backwards and forwards, because Leon is a bit slower, so you just gotta be faster basically. Okay, let's do this whole section again now that I've talked about that Mr. X manip. And let me show the way I like to manage Mr. X to make sure he's more often than not behaving.
Jesus Christ!
In the section. Alright, where are we on? Doing Leon guide when being running a lot of Claire, never a good sign, alright? Never a good or easy thing to do, eh? Okay, we can do the discard already. Got the bullets. We managed to lick her by looking down. Once he jumps the ceiling, we shoot him. And past him. Keep. Got the check. The way I like to manip Mr. X here is kind of being a little bit on the left here, betting in that position. And that more often than not gives me the good RNG. I want him in the later part of the run, once we come out of the clock tower. But obviously, now that it's a tutorial and a guide I'm trying to do, right, I'm not talking about this pistol manip at all. When you enter a library here, you wanna do a pistol shot right, like, hugging this sofa right around this part, like this line part of the sofa, alright? So I do run here, do a pistol shot around somewhere, just shoot somewhere around the door, eh? And that will basically bait a zombie that sometimes is on the right here to walk kind of aimlessly towards the door. It should give you like a free pass here to move these shelves. When you move these shelves, sometimes you get bad RNG and these zombies will come and bite you in the back when you move them, but that's just bad RNG and there's really pretty much nothing you can do about it. You're gonna have to do this section again though, but it's fine.
What the? Jesus Christ!
Which side to go? You don't need to think about the side to go. You can always just run straight ahead. I'm doing clear route again. Oh. In autopilot sometimes. You don't really need to think about this punch at all. If you do this aim and if you just aim and run forwards. It will always work. Very few cases it doesn't work, but that's like extremely rare. And I think even then it might something to do with the like situation. So basically, in this hallway, I just make sure I'm standing. So basically, where I'm standing is baiting Mr. X to go there, right? So I'm kind of standing on the right here when I'm doing the aim manip. So he basically, I'm forcing Mr. X to punch this direction and just run past him, eh?
7 Ray-D, biggest D on Twitch. Oh,
Right, I
7
need to discard
Ray-D.
the item. So once I come back here. But this is something you can experiment with. I'm not gonna say my way is the right way. But so do the pistol manip here. Let's see. So this zombie should be aggroed by the pistol shot, which gives us more often than not free pass here. Move all these shelves. Hopefully you remember to move the shelf in RPD1. It also adds more consistency to this section. You just want to hug the right side. In this case, if you hear this zombie aggro, it means he will be in a bad spot later on. So you just want to make sure you don't have this zombie aggro in any way. So just hug the right side. Sometimes you might get bad RNG where he aggros, but where he's like really quickly starts walking towards you or he's in a bit closer spot, but it's very rare. Use the big cog. Pick it up, go back up. Swap the cogs around. Now take the small cog downstairs. But when I'm talking about all these RNGs and what can happen, it's kind of based on if you do this movement well. So obviously if you do a lot of like side steps and not super clean movement, it will just, you're gonna have to run a lot to get a basic feel of what can happen or where Mr. X can be, depending on your own movement. These are basically just if you get movement down pretty decently and consistently the same way.
Hope I don't have to
There
write a
was less.
report on this.
After we pick up the fuses, we go back to the library. If you did early on at the spade key the library route, you basically would take the clear route here. But we do things the way I do it. No problem. Also, sometimes Mr. X actually can be here, but it's still good RNG because he won't be in the doorway. That's like more the way I do the manip. More often than not, he's here, or he's at the ladder, or he's really early on this door, which are all pretty good things. The only thing you don't want to happen is that Mr. X is at the door when you come to the door yourself. Very rarely you get some zombie memers here, and sometimes there can be a zombie actually escape from the library. There can be like zombie right behind this corner or zombie right there, but that's really rare. More often than not, you don't need to shoot them at all. There's a heal there if you ever need to pick up. Sometimes this zombie, you need to shoot him. He can be quite a few places here, but it's very rare again. And if you've like been equipping the flashbang or used the flashbang, you can pick up another flashbang here as a backup because you're gonna need a flashbang coming up. So if you've used the flashbang as a safety item and you're being grabbed, there's a one like right here. So during this pass you can just pick it up. So, because the last time we did the fuse section, we didn't aggro Elliot at all, he was being passive. This should give us basically a free pass every single time. More often than not, there's gonna be another zombie here who's idling. If we just go quickly, we can run by him. Except this time, because I paused there, I'm pretty sure. Except this time, because I paused, okay? I blame the pause. This checkpoint kind of sucks though. So we're gonna do something memes and we're gonna speed up the gameplay a little bit, right? Right. Come on, my hotkeys ain't working. Also, things to note, loading autosaves changes zombie positions sometimes, so now going up this section again, I'm not sure if everything is gonna stay as consistent as they should be, like in a normal run. But let's hope so. Because I want to explain the next upcoming section a little bit. The green hallway. More often than not, you're gonna have to be shooting a lot of zombies. Let me do a save here. So, this should be pretty consistent. That if you just run quickly, you'll be able to pass that idling zombie almost always. The zombies can be in a gazillion different places in that hallway. Just be prepared to shoot. The zombies that are kind of facing towards the wall like this, you can usually run by them on their backside. Like if there's a zombie facing like this, you can kind of usually just run by him on the other side of the wall. Just make sure you keep your distance. Let's do that section a couple more times and see if there's actually any varying RNG here. We load up the section. I'm not sure if this changes. I think these are mostly based on the RNGs that we got off of how we did the fuse section. I think a lot of these things matter the way you do the fuse, depending on how the zombies will be placed here. Let's get different schedule. I started today a bit late. Yeah, I'm recording, doing the guide stuff for funsies because I don't feel like running Clary hardcore at the moment. Dogs. These dogs are the most asshole things in this whole game, okay? This is the most RNG dog section there is. You run to the door and hope you don't get fucked. Okay? You run past here. Very few cases you get insta-nipped here, but more often than not you just run here and hope for the best. Once we get past this car here, you can turn to the left and curve the left, like from the left to the right a little bit. So, go to the left and curve to the right, and this will give us the most consistent dogs. But obviously, sometimes you just get hit. And you can actually get pretty far into the doorway while you go through here. This is like a tiny bit damage, this animation. It's the shortest animation as well when you get hit like through the doorway. It's not as bad. I guess let's do the dog section a couple times and just see what can happen here. The RNG changes a little bit. Pidila. So different at least RNG now. From left, curve to the right. And run to the door. This is the most consistent dog line there is, at least. Unless, if you have a better dog line, please let me know, okay? I'm highly curious. Okay, this next upcoming section... okay, first of all, we gotta do the puzzle. The way I like doing the puzzle is go this way, right? So once I put all this stuff in, I press up once, interact once, go right, interact once, go right, interact once, go upright, interact once. Wait, hold on. Man, I do this so autopilot that I don't even fucking know, man. Hold on. Where's my save? Oh shit. Oh my god, okay. Let's do the dog section again. Let me make a save close by the puzzle and do it once and then talk about how I do it. Because I do it just such an autopilot I don't even think about it anymore. Imagine being top runner and not knowing the solutions, eh? Yikes. And do the puzzle. Okay. That's how you do it, okay? Totally. So, let's do that again. Did it count every press and click I did? I hope I actually know how to do it slowly. It's such a fucking autopilot for me. One. Up twice. One right. One up. 3 times here. Twice here. And once here. This is the way I like to take this puzzle. And if you don't know about the triple interaction and inputs, you can basically use 3 interaction buttons at the same time to rotate the piece 3 times at once. What I mean is, I do go over this in my Claire race. Actually, I go through this in my keyboard and menuing guide. I suggest you go check it out. But basically, you can do triple inputs at one time. So left click and enter are hard-coded into menus. So I can use them even though my left click and enter are not found anywhere in controls. All my interact buttons are E and Q. They're E and Q, but left click and enter still works in menus. This allows us to use E, Q and enter or left click at the same time. It's just 3 rotations, like quickly. So this allows us to do like multiple rotations in a like instantaneous way. For example, we go one rotation, wait, yeah, one rotation, and then we need to do 2 here. So I do left click and E, for example, and that would do 2 rotations at once. One rotation, and here I can do 3 inputs at the same time. So EQ and left click to do 3 rotations in a single way. And here I can do again 2 rotations with like left click and E. It didn't register my inputs, but yeah. Basically it's just tiny little thing to speed up. This will come to YouTube indeed. Yeah, it doesn't work. It's only in menus where the left click and enter are hard coded. So I don't have left click and enter found anywhere, so I can't pick up the item. But once I pick this item up, I can use my left click and mouse and click anywhere, for example, to place this. It's just in the menus and puzzles where the left click and enter work, regardless of your key bindings. Hey, Mr. Muba. So, coming up here next, there are 2 ways to do this section. If you don't have a flash, you can do the YOLO flash, YOLO flashless prison strat, which I'm really bad at. But I'm gonna show the basic principle of it. Only do this if you don't have a flash, or if you wanna get that tiny extra time save by not picking flash at any point in RPD, okay? So the way I like doing this is like run forwards, curve around the corner, and I run towards this like shadowed section of this pillar right here. The moment this zombie aggroes on the right here, I'm gonna press left a little bit, hug this jail cell here, which will make a zombie aggro inside the jail cell here. That will delay all the other zombies aggro, which allows me to kind of curve to the right and run into zombie at the same time as Mr. X is starting his punch animation. He will punch me out of a grab. Does that sound complicated? Yes. But let's see how it works. If I can get it to work. So, when zombie aggroes, go to the left, aggro the other zombie. Okay, I got a bad aggro there, which meant I got punched. Let's try this again. But that's a basic principle of it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get this right now here. Wow, Mr. X missed. Okay. The main point is though, you wanna get grabbed by this zombie and Mr. X punches you out of the grab. Okay. This is definitely not going the way it's supposed to, alright? But this is like really YOLO stuff, alright? You don't probably wanna do this unless you're really confident about doing this strat, okay? That's the basic premise of how it works. It's very important that you aggro the zombie on the cell. If you don't aggro the zombie in the cell when doing this, the zombie in front of you will aggro you. Let me see if I can repeat that. So if I don't aggro the zombie on the cell at all, this zombie will aggro me and you're just screwed instantly. But anyway, let me show the easy and consistent way of doing this section. Super easy and free. Have a flashbang, go around the corner, shoot the zombie, throw the flash,
Give me a
and run
break.
past everything. If you crit on the first zombie and he falls on you, that might screw you over sometimes, but this should be like the easiest way of doing this section. By any chance, if you don't have a bullet here, you can kind of run to the left side of this room and throw the flash from here. This will... Okay, I'm a little bit rusty with this flash, okay? But basically, the reason why you can't throw the flash from really far away is because you don't flash Mr. X then. And enjoy the New York is talking about Nix has made a guide for prison. I'm gonna link the Nix issues prison guide on this section, or like put in the description of the video as well. So if you want, link it on the chat here, and I'll make sure to add it to this video as well. But yeah, this is what happens if you throw the flash too early. I throw the flash. When I come here, Mr. X isn't flashed. So it's very important that you throw the flash from far enough, and this is basically the way to do it. If you don't have a bullet, go a little bit to the left here and throw the flash. And this should give you basically enough distance to throw the flash while still flashing Mr. X. It's a bit slower on the left side, but in case you don't have any bullets left. Alright. Next. You really wanna try to not pick this herb up. You rather pick up, there's a heal in the prison. If you need a heal and you're on a caution, pick that one up. Because in this section, if you go pick this heal up, it will make Ada be a lot slower in this upcoming section. So we can speed up Ada on this section by taking certain line here. So normally Ada would walk a really long way to the kendo shop. But if we hug the right side here and run on the right side of this water post here, we'll basically make Ada start running on this section.
Well, what exactly are you looking for?
And this will basically make Ada run all the way to the end point here.
Road's out. Going
And
to
that's
that
the...
gun shop looks like the only
It's
way.
not... It's kind of basic, like super advanced, but it's just very important to run the right side. And if you go pick up the heal, it sometimes slows up Ada starting the run animation. So there's that. Because we're doing the wall wrecky strats, we don't need the shotgun bolt or the grenade here. We basically do everything with knife only. I'm pretty sure this animation, when Ada starts this opening door animation. Yep. You need to run on the right side, or maybe there's like... That's the safe, like, just run on the right side of the water post and you're fine, okay? It makes Ada run faster.
Heard of the Umbrella Corporation? They're a pharmaceutical
If you get a
company
shift boost here coming from this
firearms.
cutscene to the right, it will make Ada start opening the door a tiny bit faster. I'm pretty sure of it. But
That explains the horrible
don't
things
quote
I've
me
seen.
on it. I'm pretty sure that Ada starts the door opening animation a bit faster.
And that's why I'm looking for Annette Burke. She's the one at Umbrella responsible for unleashing this. Get to it.
Based on what you've said, the sewer seems
Here
fake.
comes the low boring part of the run. Let me actually just speed this up.
Gee, can't imagine.
So
a
this
real scientist
section,
being- Come
let's
on.
run through
How
the
could they have a
sewer
facility
section.
without the-
Blah blah blah
Jesus.
blah 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 blah.
What the hell?
There's a bank here. I don't know if why would you need a bank, but in case you're at 0 bullet at this point, you wanna pick this ammo up because you're gonna need bullets coming up.
Again?
Not too late to turn back.
Dodging the alligator is basically left, right, left, which is Ada. Spells out Ada. Let me see if I can do it sped up. Left, then go right, wait for 2 bites, and then go left. Alright? This is the sped up version. This is boring, and then you shoot the thingy and he dies, alright? Very well done, right?
You overgrown son of a bitch.
And then when you... Okay, the sounds are bugging out a little bit, which is fine.
What the hell was?
After you do this section, you wanna pick up this grenade. Just make sure you put the grenade on one of the side slots. This makes the inventory very nice for the key items coming up. So I usually like putting the grenade on this slot and I pick it up. Yeah, we're gonna speed this up again.
Can't say I
You
didn't
said
warn
the
you.
virus.
Basically,
turned
Ada
people
slowly
into
walks to the
monsters.
elevator and you just
Not
gotta wait for
reptiles.
Ada in the elevator.
So let me get this
Wait
straight.
the ride down.
Somebody
We
else
don't
is?
sell them all. And Annette is who's scary as that alligator was. Annette
Okay.
is far more dangerous.
I'm gonna talk about, this is probably not the thing for most people if you run on PC and 120 FPS. But if you are like a really slow PC and the game loads really slowly, this is also a console thing. It takes for a little bit for some people for this door interaction to load. So if you have a problem where you can't interact with this door instantly, pause the game here and wait a little bit and then go interact with the door. It basically allows the game to load the interaction here while the game is paused, so you don't lose time. But this shouldn't be a problem on PC more often than
Identify
not.
yourself.
Alright, Ada hacking section.
You can run, Annette, but you can't hide.
When it comes to the
Secret weapon time.
secret weapon, you don't want to hold the left click or whatever button you have to hack items. The fastest way is actually spam clicking, because when we click once, there's a little bit of acceleration at the very beginning of the hack. And when we spam click it, we basically keep that accelerated speed all the way throughout the hack. But this also allows us to kind of do end hacks or like complete hacks while not watching the hacks. Because we can see, okay, each individual click does this much of the hack bar, right? So if we know this fact, we can basically get it almost all the way to the end and do one left click and it will finish the hack on its own. So if we do this, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then if we hack here and let go, it will finish on its own. Because each individual click hacks a certain amount of the bar. This one, each click is a lot smaller part of the bar. So in here, it's a lot less that you can leave available. So we can let go of the hacking. This is the fastest way of doing the hacks, I'm pretty sure. I timed it, or I looked comparisons. So I suggest you learn it this way of the hacks. It's like, it looks maybe slower, but I guess at least comparing to other people doing the hack section, this is the faster, like comparing the times. So hacking here on the first interaction. Continuing the hack here on the second interaction. Going as left as you can. If you have enough brightness, it's basically right after this bar here where you want to stop while doing the hacks. Hold on. And then once you're close enough to finish the hack, you let go. You get around this part of the bar, you can hack this last one. And jump down. Here the movement section is very specific. You can, if you do flawless movement and good turns and good stairs gate, you should be able to run past this zombie like this. If you don't, if you're like not so confident about your movement, you can just come here and run on this side, and this should give you a consistent pass here as well. But this pass makes you basically have to shoot this zombie later on. So I'm gonna show the way I do this section though.
It's secret weapon time.
Do the hacks. Hacking, hacking. And yeah, again, just make sure if you screw up your movement on like these quick turns or stair skates, you feel like you're a little bit bumbling all over, go on the right side pass. But I'm gonna do this close by pass here. This allows us to do kind of a juke and not have to shoot this zombie later on. When we run here, I'm basically taking a line towards this box here. This is the thing you need to hack. The moment I reach this yellow cable here, I can start hacking. So And let it finish and just back out. Here. I run kind of in front of the zombie here a little bit. And once I am a little bit closer to the zombie, I can just kind of curve right and go around him. This basically forces the zombie walks forward this way while we go around him. So forwards, we go right, and we go around the zombie. We don't need to shoot him at all.
Got you now.
Let me actually make a save
Always been
here.
good at running, Annette.
Fuck.
Give you that.
My save button. There we go. No. The way I like doing this hack section is how would I say it? When I'm around like this paper section, I'm aiming at the phone here, or this like phone looking thingy, and starting to spam aim. So I run here. When I get around this paper, I start aiming here and hack. That will basically give me an easy way to walk onto this box here that I need to hack. Let's load up the save again and do this normally, because we need to hack this box to pull out pull the lever. Around here. Hack this, then interact this one. You gotta hear the click sound before you click this button, otherwise it won't work. So just make sure you heard the click, and then you should be able to interact with this. Afterwards, we need to hack this thing up here. Then hack the fan. And we're out. Then stairs gets up. Also, I highly suggest make a save here. There's some... You can practice some cool ways of doing this, which are a bit faster. It's basically free time save if you know how to do it or have practiced enough. And make a save here. So I can show it. So once we pick this up, we're gonna trigger a cutscene.
Bravo.
Shoot some bullets away. This lowers our DA. If you don't know what DA is, go check out my How to Speedrun Resident Evil 2 Remake
I'm not
guide.
the only one after it.
We explain DA there briefly.
Realize that.
We're gonna have to hack these nodes here. It's this one. This one. This one. This one. This one. And this one. The basic order of hacking things. But since we know that each click does X amount of the hack, right? You can actually do this section by hacking multiple things at once, which is the hard part if you want to do this really optimally. But you can practice this and get it down quite... Like, with practice basically everything comes consistent, right? So if you redo this section now, I'm gonna show how to do the multi-hack one.
Bravo. Gonna burn me alive now.
You just need to be really good at like correct mouse flicks back and forth.
I'm not the only one after it. You realize that?
And you won't die alone.
Like this one. Make sure you like do individual taps and clicks. The fastest time I've gotten on this hacking section is 46.8. So compared to like, if you do, let's compare. 46.8 is the fastest I've done. Let me do this the fastest way I can do without doing multi-hacks.
Bravo.
And see how well I can,
Right now.
what time I can get on this hacking section without doing the multi-hacks.
I'm not the only one after
So we
it.
can see what the actual time is, save
You
is.
realize that?
And you won't die alone.
Oops. I did multi-hack thingy accidentally. So comparing it this way, this was 44, alright? So that's 2.8 seconds compared against at least this this method. But like this first multi-hack, where you have to go like back and forth here, is the hardest one. You could technically kind of not do this one and do the one on the right side here, because these are really close by. So this multi-hacking is a lot easier, but it just requires practice of knowing how much, like you need to do a couple hacks here, then one here, more couple hacks here, one here, more hacks here, and then finish it, basically. But yeah, that's a basic premise of the multi-hacking. There's a save here if you don't have the trainer tool. I'm gonna link it in the description as well, so you can make custom saves, but also have a manual save here. Just remember to do it before the hacking section. And remember to go push the lever, then come down, do the save, so you don't need to do all the mumbo jumbo otherwise. I don't know how well you can do this on controller, but I'd assume you could do it somewhat well, maybe. Maybe at least a little bit of time save in some of the hacks. After this cutscene, we need to hold DS and go backwards to the button here.
Ada, where are you?
Them stairs gets down. Thank you, Glider. I will upload this to YouTube, no worries.
That's a pleasant smell.
I'm kind of all over with this guide, but you know, hopefully there's at least some things to learn here. Hopefully at least some things, alright. Let me make a save here. By chance, if you have one bullet left here. Okay, actually, let me just show the first way of doing this. So, you run past the zombie and you want to shoot this zombie and run past him, alright? Sometimes if you would have one shot left at this point, you really want to save the one shot. And you want to try to go past this zombie without shooting him. I'm gonna show the other way of doing this section, which I'm probably really bad at, and there are probably knife-only runners who know it a lot better. I'm gonna show the alternative if you don't have if you only have one shot left, because you're gonna need that one shot coming up here soon. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm running towards the door here, and then I'm kind of curving right before the door to the right to run past the zombie. Here you're gonna need to pick up the knife if you can, if you're good at the picking up. Place the knife here. This leaves our first 4 slots for key items, which makes inventorying and menuing a lot more manageable.
Shit.
So with this new current world record route, you don't need more than one grenade. You only need it for G2. And then basically next fights are just done with knife only. This next shot here, so this is where you need the shot. To get past this G-adult, you want to shoot him. And basically this shot is kind of a multi-purpose thing. If you run clear, you know that compared to Leon, the zombies on the stairway on the left here are a bit differently. Let me see if I can escape the body here a little bit to show. Is the thing? Out of body? Question mark? Can I go through this door? No. So, these zombies in here are normally in these positions on Claire. But on Leon, if you've noticed, the zombies are a little bit differently placed. And it all has to do with the fact that when we do this pistol shot here, when we shoot the G-adult on this section, we actually manipulate these zombies to be differently placed. And for the most consistent good, like manipulation for these zombies, you shoot around when you get next to this like crappy thing on the wall here. So when you run here, when you're around the crap part here, you shoot this G-adult. And that will basically make these zombies kind of in the best way possible in the stairway. But this is like for a little bit later on. And if you don't know the run, this might be a bit confusing, but we'll return to that later part a bit later on. So I'm just gonna mention this now so you'll know that this shot has an effect for later part of the run. But let me see where the saves are here actually, because I need to restart the zombie aggro there. I did totally screw it up. Okay, we have to continue from here. It's fine. We're gonna do it the way I'm normally doing it. So, shoot the zombie here. Go past the zombie. Pick up the knife. And slide down.
Shit.
And then when we go here, I'll make sure I'll shoot the G-adult. And I'm around the crap thing on the left here. So around here, I just run past on the left side. And that will more than enough also like make the zombies in pretty decent places.
Cable car.
There's only one like really rare RNG which manipulates the zombies in like kind of odd places where you need to shoot a lot. In the upcoming stairway.
Where'd she go?
But I'll talk about it soon. After these cutscenes we go left, direct the valve here. Good to know thing, while this bridge is going down, there are pistol bullets here that you can grab up in case if you were like 0 bullets here. You don't technically need a bullets unless you get bad RNG in the upcoming section, but that's very rare that happens. So more than not, if you're a 0 bullets here, you're still fine. Once we pick up this valve, put it one down, back up. And this staircase here, I'm actually do a save here. Let's see what RNG we get here. So more often than not, these zombies are facing kind of, well, this zombie here can face a lot of directions. And as long as he's not looking towards you and like start groaning and aggroing you, you're fine, just stairs get past him. Like in this case, we're just gonna keep staircading past him, either on the left side or right side, depending where you have space to do so. So, in World Record 1, currently I would do a DA manip here, but I've been hit on this run already, and this hit would put me to caution. So only if I got a hitless run this far, I would get bit here on purpose. And make sure it's a back bite, and make sure you run after this button. I would run here and on purpose give my back and back up here, because this is very tight timing, so you don't lose time while this door is opening. You just gotta make sure you kind of optimize this enough so you don't lose time, so you have enough time to get bit and go through this door. It's not needed, but it just makes the boss fights later on a bit easier. And this is like just min-maxing. The line here, more often than not, kind of just hug the left side so you don't get staggered by this G-adult here. Where did I actually save? Let's load up a save and I can talk about the line there with the G-adult there again. So in this case I'm gonna get bit here on purpose, but I could if I was a bit less throughout the run. But just make sure you kind of hug from this corner to this corner. So when I go on the left side here, I run this straight line and then turn to the right when I see the Seattle is past me. Claire runs faster on caution, so she can run way more in the middle. Alright, interact with this button. The way I like taking this line is I kind of run towards this white what is this called? Bucket, white bucket, and then a little bit before the back, I turn a little bit left, pick it up, and then this gives me basically kind of a quick turn angle to the door to quickly interact with the door itself. So this is like the most optimal way I found to do this. When we pick this up, we wanna put this on the second slot. Pick up the pistol ammo. This pistol ammo is not needed if you don't want to do a certain pistol manip. A certain like mini skip later on. But more like it's a lot safer to just pick this pistol ammo up. It's very safe to shoot this Gerald. Like if I shoot while I'm standing on ground and I shoot this Gerald, it will make him dive every single time. Sometimes the Gerald is already like underneath right there. And the way you deal with that is the moment you climb down, you just hold aim and shoot instantly. And then you can basically just run through here. So the way, if the Gerald was like on the water there, I'd shoot and run like this, basically. Now I'm just gonna do this shot while I'm standing on the floor and run past him. These zombies can be in so fucking shitty ways, and it requires tons of runs and getting used to how these zombies behave, to know what to do here. In this case, we actually gotta get kind of clean run by here. Things to note: if this yellow zombie is climbing up here, or he's on this platform, he will be a pain later on. But if this yellow zombie here is on the water when you get up here, or if he climbs after you, he's gonna be nowhere. He's gonna be like no problem at all. But if he's climbing up, or if he's up already when you come back here, he will be placed in this stairway right here, or like right around here, which can make him a little bit problematic. But you kind of want to pay attention to the yellow vest to make sure to see where he is when you climb up, so you know if you get a free pass later on or not. So at this point, our inventory, we could basically have extra bullets here as well. If you pick up the bullets and you have a lot extra over, when you pick up the bullets, you kind of want to place them in the far away slot to make sure you have these first 3 slots for the key items. That's about it. Always want to save the first slots for key items. Let's make a save here.
Oh my god, this is getting worse.
So these Seattle manips are pretty consistent, and they're dependent on kind of when and where from you shoot. This first one, you basically kind of, you run from an angle like this, just shoot him when you see him. You should be able to run by on the left side. The second pass here, I'm basically running towards the wall here. The moment I see the head, I try to aim at the or when I see the neck, I aim at the neck and shoot him. So I run here, see the neck, and then shoot it. And more often than not, should make him dive underwater.
Oh my god, this is getting worse.
There's multiple different ways you can do this to find consistent way for yourself. And I again suggest you to make your own practice saves for this. But that's the best manip that you can have. If he doesn't dive down, you can either try to juke and grab attack and back up, which is something like this. And then run past him. But obviously this is slow variation. And if he does any of these kind of weird side slam attacks, they're a bit hard to read. It just requires practice to know when you can run past them. And the best animation they can do is the Spit Babies animation. They make always the same sound effect, which is this one. And they do this animation. When they do this animation, they're more often than not a free pass. And you will always want to run on the right side of the G-Adult when he's doing this Spit Baby animation. Let's do this section again. But this is... I'm just talking about these now because we're gonna have to deal with these. The first pass, this one, if you practice it enough, will always be consistent. Shoot him in the neck, he dives down, be fine, and we run past everything. JMO, I refuse to answer your 3-head questions, okay? Your inventory is right, this should go on the first slot, which makes all this menuing easy, alright? At 120 FPS we don't need knives, so we just pick up this shit up. And you should be pretty safe here. This is a pretty movement heavy room that you can actually gain quite a bit of time if you just do this room well. You do your menus. Here I actually, this is one of the quick turns I like to do, is kind of do an angled quick turn where I run kind of here and I quick turn here and I pick up the last plug and then I get into a quick turn into the stairway here. So instead of doing like a multiple quick turn pick up, I'm gonna minimize the quick turns here. I kind of run from an angle here, pick up a quick turn in the stairway for a nice smooth angle. Same here, kind of an angled quick turn. And this section coming back is the kind of an RNG. Sometimes you get free passes here, sometimes not. And this is where comes in the like knowing how G-Adults behave and how to get past them. If you see a G-Adult here, for some reason, if you kind of aim quickly and climb down, it more often than not makes the G-Adult Spit Babies, which is a free pass. I'm gonna do this section multiple times. It looks like we kind of have a free pass here. So this would be a free pass that there's nobody on the way here. Let's reload the checkpoint and do this again. Okay, it's another free pass, so we can even try this. This is also a section we can just practice here, because this should change the RNG every time you come here. It should change the RNG, okay? I really hope it does. For some reason it's not. I guess it's changing it a little bit. In this case, if you see a G-Adult here, when he's like kind of far away here, it's actually pretty safe. Like, it gives you more consistent pass here if you shoot him from this far long distance here once. And obviously this kind of depends on just reading on what happens. And this is, again, practice, repetition, doing this section 1,000 times. Like, especially if the G-Adult has a back towards you, then you want to shoot him. If he's looking towards you like this, you just run towards him and hope for the best. In this case, though, we're kind of being screwed here. Okay. Let me do this one more time and see actually if we can get another RNG pass here. Or like a different RNG. It's not being very nice now, is it? Okay, I don't know why these are not changing at all. But if there's Gerald close by here, you can just kind of climb down or hope for the best and do the jukes. Or there's another way of you kind of shooting him. Shooting him while he's under, like, while he's down here. It will make him dive underneath the water. But the problem with that is that sometimes when he dives underwater, his default placement is gonna be underneath there. And when I go through here, he will most likely dive up here and knock me over. You can kind of, if you do this, you can sometimes get past him. And if you wanna be extra sure about it, you can kind of hug on the left side here. And that will also give you more often than not safer pass. More often than not. As I said, there's a little bit RNG relating to if you have to do this shot while on the ground. Sometimes you will get a pass there without no memes, and sometimes you will not. I really wish I could show more of this, but it doesn't seem like this autosave is willing to give me any other RNG at the moment, so... there's a little bit of a time save here you can do. It's quite hard. You need to shoot the G-adult 3 to 4 times into the eye here. And it basically staggers the G-adult. You can also crit. And then it can even be one shot. But with one shot, Leon actually is too slow to even get past him. So it's actually bad RNG to crit with a one shot. The best case would be 2 shots to get past this G-adult. And but this is a hard strat, so if you don't want to do this, totally reasonable. A very free and easy way of doing this section is basically just climbing up when the GL comes. You can always try to take these shots, but if you even see like one shot doing the red blood, just climb up here and wait a little bit and then climb down. Like, if you're not trying to do the shooting strat, it's kind of free to try, but the moment if you realize one shot doesn't connect, climb up instantly. So here, this is the position that the Yellow West can be if he's like climbing up, or if he's climbing up or he's standing on this platform in the previous pass, alright? He can be either here or he can be on the stairway. In this section, sometimes you can just run by here. Sometimes you need to shoot him. And if this Yellow West is on the stairway here, you kind of need to go on this side of the stairway to get past him. But that's about it. There's so many kind of like long linking consequences that I can't really go back and do everything over to show the other examples. But it all depends on that very specific, like a lot of the different passes on that section depend like matter on where the zombies are placed. Alright, since we're doing the world record strats, we're not need to do any banking here. And it's the queen, pick up the bishop, put up the king plug. Go pick up the horsey, put in the rook, put in the horsey, and put in the bishop.
Okay, almost there, Ada.
There is safety heals here if you need, or if you just need a heal, and pick it up. But obviously, for the A purposes, or like, we don't wanna try to pick up anything extra. We don't need to. I am looking at the chat, Blem, okay? I'm just recording. I don't want to interrupt too much this guy, okay? So this is the puddle solution here, alright? And once So basically, normally this fight would go when you go towards the door, G2 will smash through the ceiling. And, you know, starts smashing you through the ceiling constantly. But you can actually skip this whole phase by throwing a grenade the moment the arm comes through to around this part of the floor. Like around here. Because basically the moment the arm comes through the ceiling here, the actual G2 spawns on top of this ceiling here. And that's where you throw the grenade here and you damage him. And that will basically make him instantly go through the door. The best way of doing this is basically the moment you're kind of in the halfway here. Like around here. You start loading up the grenade, you throw it, you run backwards. And this will basically move the boss instantly to the door. On Leon, for this knife only strat, you wanna stand on the right side here. You wanna start your run from this side. This will basically make the boss follow you down the platform without doing any extra attacks. This is what we want when it comes to the fight. Just wanna go down here instantly. He should follow us without doing an attack on top. We press the button. And after we press the button, I'm gonna run backwards. And depending on the sound cue, I can tell what move he's doing. If he roars, he's gonna do a leap attack. Which means the moment I hear the roar, I go again forwards. So the boss leaps like behind me. And I'm gonna go back into knifing him. And if I don't hear the roar, he's gonna do like a triple slash attack, which means I can just go pick up this flash and knife and then continue the knifing. So I'm gonna back up here, hit off the roar, I'm gonna back up and go knifing him. If you're having problems of getting this boss staggered, I have a theory, okay? So the way to get this boss staggered most consistently is actually damaging the human side of the boss. So you gotta make sure that your knife swings are damaging more on this side of the body when you're doing the knife swings, okay? So on the right side where the human head is, and this side of the arm where the not big arm is. So when I'm basically baiting... Okay, let's pretend he did something is... Actually, it's gonna be hard doing it from this save. Because when you load this autosave, the practice isn't consistent. Because from this autosave, you always will do this kind of stomp action, which he wouldn't do normally if you do this run all the way from the other end. So practicing from this autosave is actually really bad. So if you want to actually do proper practices, you gotta start all the way there. Like when you throw the grenade and that stuff. But I'm gonna try to make this boss behave kind of the way it should by delaying my button pressing here. Let's see if I can get the roar. So here when I'm doing the knifing, I'm aiming up. And I'm kind of aiming a little bit to the left side of the boss here. I'm kind of really late on the knifing here at the moment, but we actually managed to get even one swing stagger on this boss, which is pretty insane. And when it comes to knifing this boss down, the timings are really hard to go through this boss fight, because it depends. If he tries to do the triple slash attack, or if he does the leap, you have to knife. Okay, if he does the triple slash attack, you basically want to break your first knife and then go instantly for the button. If you get the leap attack, you basically want to break your first knife and then do like 2-3 more swings. You should have enough time for that, assuming things go smoothly the way they're supposed to. And then you press the button and then continue knifing until underneath 50% health. So you need to get the boss under 50% health for the crane to kill him one shot. Let me see if I can mimic this boss to do either. Okay, leap. So this would mean we break the knife. Also, when it comes to knifing this boss, I'm trying to make sure that my kind of knife swing goes through the body and the end of my knife is hitting both the heads here. I break the knife and then I do like 2-3 more swings.
Now I got you.
Continue knifing, finishing to 50%. Or underneath 50%. Pick up the pistol ammo. And run past it. And I actually should have used that time to pick up the flash and the knife with this RNG.
Let's hope that's the last.
So on the triple, let's see if I can get the triple slash attack happening here. Okay, let's see. So now he's doing the triple slash attack. I pick up these items in this case now. I go slicing here. You should stagger him pretty much on the first swing, assuming you get a good swing going in the head and the eyes. I'm gonna break my first knife. I go press the button here.
Now I got you.
And then I go finishing off. This is a little bit more tight fight this way. Right, I should have picked up pistol bullets. Okay. That was me being, you know. As I said, this fight is probably gonna be your toughest bet, doing it the world record way, eh? But yeah, at this point, after you've done all the diving, you got the pistol bullets, bait him, and you basically barely have enough time to get out of the way. Oh, I didn't get the... Okay, he's in really weird spots, so I'm gonna redo this again. Yeah. So the safest way of doing this fight, always, if you wanna be really safe, you basically knife him instantly to 50% and then press the button. Like, you do this, keep knifing him, knife him, knife him, knife him, get him underneath 50%, then press the button. Just gotta know how to juke this boss, and it just comes down to practice. We're maybe a little bit late here. No, it's fine. That's like the very safe way of doing the fight. Knifing underneath 50, then press the button. Slower, but... So if you picked up most of the pistol bullets,
Let's hope that's
and
the last.
in the run in sewers, so in this fight and in the sewers earlier on, and you managed to do the bite manipulation in sewers, your DA should be around, like, it's very close to 7, just like we're here. We've been licked on this run, so our DA is a little bit over 7. The difference between 6 and 7 DA is makes difference in the zombie behavior, enemy behavior quite a bit. So on 6 DA, enemies still behave like standard enemies. On 7 DA, okay, over 7,000, the enemies behave like hardcore enemies. So you need more shots to stagger them, and the zombies have double lunges, and the lickers are more turbo. So if you can, later on, once we get to the train, we're gonna shoot some bullets out to try to lower our DA a little bit. But this is like... It'd be optimal if you could be underneath 7 here, going into the labs, but it might not be the case every single time. Depends on how good your run is. If you've been hit a lot throughout the run, you're probably completely fine. You're gonna be underneath 7 here.
Where'd you get that?
Assuming you don't pick up a lot of extra items throughout the run and kill enemies. Killing enemies obviously increases DA. Right, perhaps, take care. Basically, the quickest way to trigger this cutscene is basically there's a line here which triggers the cutscene. So basically just run at the very right side of this section here to trigger the cutscene. Then there's gonna be a little bit of a trick you can do to run past Ada here. Pretty sure you need to... Okay, actually, let me make a save here so I can confirm this, because I always get this right. There's the man, and then probably gonna fail it. What I do is I run straight and I instantly kind of turn my camera to the right, and that should give me consistent pass in front of Ada. So I run straight and turn to the right. But this is what I do with shift boost. So if you know about shift boosting, if you nail the shift boost, you should be able to do this. So run forwards with the shift boost and then curve a little bit right to get in front of him. I'm pretty sure you need a shift boost to get in front of him. In front of her, sorry. So, shift boost. Damn it. I'm not gonna get it now, am I? Wow. I blame this is some weird scuffed meme with the trainer, alright? Alright. If you wanna do this safer way, just hold forwards and D. And you go on the right side of Ada. It's a tiny bit slower, but pretty consistent. Obviously, this is what happens more often than not, that you kind of get stuck here and don't get past him. But I highly suggest if you've not practiced it enough, just go on the right side quickly. These stairs are actually fake. You don't need to stair skate on these, but you can do a tiny stair skate. This lever here. But like you slow down quite a bit before the lever here. So doing a little bit of stair skate at the close to the lever here gives a bit faster interaction. And here you can shoot a couple bullets away if you want. I'd highly suggest you have maybe like 15 bullets. Well, I don't know. It depends how comfortable you're with. Just shoot some bullets away there to lower your DA. Again, we're like a bit over 7 still, so we could technically shoot more, but the wristband upgrade, just put where you feel comfortable. I personally like putting it here, or easy spot for me to put my mouse or interact with my mouse with. I personally do this angle always where I kind of go on the left side here. Some people would go on the right side. Basically the door trigger is kind of a big box here in front of the door. So once you get close enough to the door from any angle you want, like basically I think it's around here. This light to this light is this box kind of shape that it starts the door animation opening. So
stand clear until the doors are fully
you don't need to run to the center of the door, just make sure you kind of run to that box area as soon as you can.
clear until the doors are fully open.
Earlier, we go directly to the labs here. Let me do a save here.
Welcome to Nest. Enjoy your visit.
If you're on 6DA, it's debatable if you want to do this pistol manip or not. I personally always like doing this pistol manip. I find it way better if it works. But there's a zombie behind this door here. And we want to shoot this door to bait the zombie, kind of Pepega on this door. Okay, just him being stuck on the door, being like stupido. That gives us a free pass later on. If you're on caution here, it's harder to get past this zombie though in that case. On 7DA, like we are, staggering this zombie might require more bullets, so just keep that in mind. But the way I do this manip, I get around this orange line here, I shoot the door and a quick turn into the room. And then we just run inside.
Using our latest biological research.
Get up.
Enjoy our tasty selection of healthy foods.
I'm down. Pick up the knife. And we can see now if the manip worked. Yeah, this time the manip didn't work, so this time we still need to shoot this zombie. I'm gonna do this section once. Need to pick up this band upgrade, combine it, and shoot this zombie. I'm gonna do this section again and just see if we can get the manip to work, to show the difference and what to do when it works.
Our menu is designed for your nutritional needs using our latest biological research. Please enjoy our tasty selection of healthy foods.
Let's see. Did the manip work? Okay. There's two places this zombie can be. He can be like right on the right here, or he can be right at the door. I wish he would have been on the door so I can actually show how to pass him. But if he's at the door, you basically need to bump him from behind to the right shoulder here and just run kind of past him. It will basically make the zombie do 180 turn and grab, and he will basically miss you. But you can probably see some runs from other people to see how that looks. If you go too much from the side when you try to juke the zombie, when he's in front of the door, he will grab you. So just make sure you're kind of behind enough and bump on the right shoulder. Bump on the right shoulder with your left shoulder, basically. After you picked everything up here, I like to move the first slot open for the lab sample. We're gonna have to interact with a lot, so I just move the flashbang to the side. Because whenever you pick up, if you don't know this, but whenever you pick up an item and you like swap the item place with the first slot here, it's actually there's a little bit of inventory delay. So when I'm picking up items, I wanna avoid as much as I can swapping items when I pick them up. I wanna rather try to pick them up to a slot that is already empty. Imagine being almost 1.5 hours in the tutorial and saying that now. Hey. Oh well. I'm pretty sure I go through that in my inventory and menuing guide anyway. Good things to know. There's a heal there if you ever need it. It's not there on hardcore. Right, let's move this inventory or the flashbang to the side. So for the most optimal run at this point, you will have 2 flashbangs, 3.5 knives, and some pistol bullets here, alright? Basically what you need. Well, this knife can technically be used as a defensive item and you should still be fine, but you just need to pick up an extra knife later on in the run. But just keep that in mind, if you lose this one knife, you're still fine. Then the lab codes. Basically, if you imagine this as a number, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. So this is 3, 1, 2, 3, enter. The next code is 2, 0, 6, 7, enter. And we freed up the first slot for this specific sample here. You kind of want to stairs gate into this interaction, because otherwise you will slow down. Then it's just red, green, blue, basically.
To match cartridge capacity.
Red, green, blue, red, green, blue, red, green, blue. I still like shooting the middle bolt there, but whatever you prefer shooting, Just go for it. I'm actually gonna make a save here. This lap flickers, man. These are gonna be the rough one to talk about, eh? So nowadays we don't kill any of the zombies here. So we flash our way through both times. We use pistol to stagger these zombies on the staircase here. If you're DA6, you're more likely to do one-shot staggers. We're basically at just a bit over 7, so we're not gonna one-shot stagger these unless we get lucky. But we have to do like 1, 2, 3, 4 shots depending how unlucky we are. If you see a zombie lying down here, it's a good RNG. You get a free pass on the left side. Sometimes this zombie as well can turbo somewhere to the side and we can free pass him, but assuming he's not he's here somewhere, just start shooting him as early as you can, especially if you're on 70, because you never know if you need 1, 3 or 4 shots to stagger this zombie. Wow. Nice. Nice game. Nice. And here comes the worst section of this whole run for most people. Lap flickers. I'm gonna teach you the like new pretty safe way of doing this, and this is way safer if you're on 6DA also. But the way these lickers work, oh, this is gonna be annoying. Hard to explain. So if I look either up or down, like up in the ceiling or down on the floor when I aggro the lickers, the licker AI likes to jump on the ceiling and do an attack from the ceiling.
Let's go this way, really fast.
So we kind
If
of
something
use
gets
this
in our way,
to
shoot it.
manipulate ourselves to force the lickers on ceiling to do an optimal flash. Because when the sealers are on the lickers are on ceiling and you flash them, they will get a really long stun animation. So the way I do this section is once we run here, I basically get around this part where the hallway starts. I look up, I shoot, and then I instantly throw the flash. So for the flash, in this case I got a flash cancel because the zombie was right here. But this basically forces the lickers to jump on the ceiling. And I get also the benefit of cancelling the flash animation on this zombie. We instantly run past everybody. This is probably the easiest and simplest way of getting through this section nowadays, I'd say. I probably should talk about this solution here as well, eh? Solution here, alright? When you're examining this is... Fuck. We gotta do this again. We're on 70, eh? So these lickers are pretty turbo. So you don't really ever know what can happen here. In this case, I would rather use my knife and still be fine. Because we have one extra knife we can use for this section. We're gonna reload this section again. So first of all, once we pick up the signal modulator, let me talk about the solution. What's the right solution? The reason why I have my save all the way back there is because this enemy AI changes very differently if I load up a save after going through this section, and they won't be in their correct position. So the save needs to be before I aggro any of these guys for this enemy behavior to be consistent. So if you can make custom saves, you need to do it before you aggro the licker, basically, and the zombies. Free pass again. Good. Stagger. let's see what happens here again. So, get around the whole, start of the hallway here. Shoot. Got the flash. I can walk in the zombie especially, like this time because the zombie is in the way. Kind of, because the flash will get rid of the... Flash will get rid of the crap. There are a couple other ways of doing this, but I really highly just suggest this is probably the most consistent and easiest way of getting this thing down.
Who left the freezer?
Obviously, if you ever want to ask anything extra, come ask me on my stream, alright?
Cooling complete.
And when going back, we realize another flash going through these liquors. And the timing to throw the flash is usually there's like blood drops on the floor here. So around these blood drops, I'll throw the flash here. Sometimes there can be kind of random zombies in a really weird spots here. If the zombie is like kind of right here, you can really curve around the left side and throw the flash from here. Or you can just kind of shoot the zombie and then throw the flash, because you really want to throw the flash instantly after, because the shot will aggro the lickers from there. But you kind of want to try to throw the flash in a way where you've not aggroed the lickers. The range is around here, so I get to these blood drops, throw the flash, and run through the enemies. Sometimes there's a zombie really far away here that is not flashed, like in this case. So just pay attention to that. And, like in this case, we're actually right underneath 70A, so this should give us pretty consistent one-shot stagger. So we're gonna just shoot him once and hope for the best. But he kinda got screwed. But yet again, we have one extra knife we can technically use in case we need to. Let's go through this whole section one more time, because this is probably the most annoying section for everybody. Everybody hates this section. Every runner. Also, this section is way more consistent than 60A, but 70A makes this really tough section to do. So, just keep that in mind. See? So, in this case, there's another thing you could do. If you want, which is basically hugging this right side. Look forwards. Look forwards. Hug the left side here. And the moment you hear... This is very important. The moment you hear the lickers aggro, then you only look up. You need to hear both lickers scream before you look up. Otherwise, they will go for the ceiling / attack. I'm gonna show the other variation now, because we got this RNG. So... Now I hear both lickers. I'm gonna curve a little bit to the right. And kind of hug on the right side and run past these guys. We got the super meme lick, eh? Which is rare, but that's basically the more consistent way if you want to try this other section, or other way of doing this section. It shouldn't lick you more often than when you look up into the ceiling after you hear both of them aggro. That's kind of the reason why we'll look up to the ceiling, so the lickers don't lick, but we got a bit unlucky. About this solution, I didn't talk this yet, but it's basically, if you have default keybind, it's Q, D, and 3 times S. With my keybind, it's 1, D, S, S, S. And then you back up and use it. Also, More often than not, you wanna look lickers at this section. Assuming there's nothing else in your way. You just make the lickers behave slowly.
Who left the
Being
freezer
cautious at the very end of the run isn't the worst thing. It's a bit slower, but
open?
not the worst thing. Obviously in this case that leak put us underneath 7 DA, which makes these lickers and zombies be really slow behaving as well. Like they behave like standard enemies, so good thing in a sense. Okay, here we have all the zombies. You can already see all the 3 zombies here, so we're guaranteed free pass here. Again, we have basically, if you've not lost any extra knives, you should have 3.5 knives. But one of the knife is extra. Ivy sometimes kind of, you can YOLO them in a sense. They have like this kind of, they're stuck in a certain loop for a bit when they first aggro, where they don't do anything. But more often than not, it's very safe to just shoot the things in the bulb, alright? From behind, it's really hard to shoot the IVs in the bulb. The shoulder one is usually our safest bet from behind.
That did the trick.
Especially on 6DA, like YOLOing IVs is more consistent.
A dangerous solution without authorization. Your actions
During the sample, we got the second last wrist upgrade. I guess it's the last one on Leon Run, eh? You shouldn't need to shoot that Ivy, assuming you don't screw up your movement at all. So with this Ivy here, if the Ivy in this position, you're pretty much always you need to shoot him. In any other place, there is quite a high chance that you can just run by him. But you know, you wanna be safe, shoot this Ivy, especially on this spot. If he is there, just shoot him. I'm gonna pick up the shield just for funsies, so I'm on full fine animation. Probably not worth it, in all honesty, at this point of the run, but hello Lucy. Thanks so much for the raid, dude. We're working on Leon A standard guide. So I might get kind of back
Is that 7AD?
into the guide mode, eh?
He's got the biggest D on Twitch.
So, recently, people like Lucy Lover, who just raided me, they have changed this category in the sense that we basically copy the knife-only runners at this point. Before we do that, we have to do this solution, which is by default key binds, it's ESA, basically. And you can do these inputs pressing them at the same time. With me, my keybind it's
host has arrived.
with my keybind it's 3SA, and you can do this at the same time. And yeah, welcome raiders. I will get back to you peeps in real soon, alright? We're kind of almost 3 hours into this guide, almost. So I might finish this guide properly, and then take readings and all that stuff. In this room, we interact with this one, pick up the sample,
All
go
right.
back out.
Now back to Ada.
I'm gonna show 2 variations of this fight.
Removal of a level 4 virus detected.
Let me make a save here.
Initiated.
So, this is the way I do this fight. If you have 3.5 knives, I always start with the half knife. I'm gonna do like 1 knife swing that kind of hits the leg eye, then 2 body swings, and then I'm gonna finish the leg eye. After that, I'm gonna do 3 more swings and back up and force like a stomp attack from the boss. And while that stomp attack is happening, I'm gonna switch to the next knife in menu. And after that, it's just the basic normal fight, the way you do the fight. Before this point, you don't need to do... You have not needed to do any like quick knife swaps. But there is thing called quick knife swaps in this game. Which means that normally when you knife, and you swap to a different knife, you get this animation where he puts down the knife, picks it up again. You can basically circumvent that animation by opening up your menu in middle of a knife swing. And then you gotta swap to your knife. You gotta swap first to the next knife, and then you gotta either equip or unequip your current weapon. And after this one, when we close the menu, and I keep holding out the knifing and button, I can basically keep knifing without having the animation to swap the weapon. So again, we swap the next knife, and now we equip the pistol, close the menu and keep knifing. This is the way to do quick knife swaps without having to go through the animation of swapping the knife. This is something you need to practice quite a bit to get it down. There is a little bit more faster and optimal way you can do at the middle of fight. So if I have, once I've already done this knife swap once, right, and I have unequipped this knife, there's another way to do this knife swap as well, which is so there's another way to keep this to do this same thing as like swapping the knife and equipping this pistol, because at the moment I have this unequipped. I can basically, instead of doing this equip here in the menu, I can close this menu and press number 2, which is my pistol button, and then continue the knifing. But that requires really fast inputs. So if I close the menu, press 2 and then continue knifing, I can basically do this like a knife swap without having to do like an extra menu in the inventory. But it's a lot riskier, and this is not something you should focus on at all unless you're like really tip-top times. I think it's always better to do it safely. So equip the next knife, either unequip or equip the pistol, and just keep knifing. And this only works in a case that this pistol is unequipped, because if this pistol is equipped, I swap the knife and I press 2 now, we already have it equipped, so it doesn't work. So this needs to be unequipped if you want to do the quick press 2 and... No, I'm probably confusing everybody right now, but... Anyway, let's go through the fight. 1 scuffed swing on the leg, 2 on the body, finish the leg eye, 3 on the body, back up, swap knife, and do quick knife swaps and just finish the fight, alright? This is how it looks. Swing the leg, body swings, finish the leg, 1, 2, 3, back up, turn to the side, and at this point, while he's starting this animation, I'm swapping to the next full health knife. I don't even need to do quick swap here at this point. Finishing the shoulder eye, and here, if you have pistol shots, it can be safer to just shoot the back eye. But it's also like, some people find it really hard. So he can knife this back eye, but he needs to be in the middle of the animation where he's staggered when you finish the shoulder eye. The way I like, you kind of need to aim all the way up and kind of to the right of the eye, in a sense, where like at the very beginning side of the swing is hitting the back eye. This way. So I'm like aiming very, and like this part of the swing here is hitting the back eye, eh? And after this, I basically just transition the knife in the back here. And important things to note about knifing from the back here. If you hit these chest eyes too early, this boss will stand up instantly. And you can actually clip on the chest eyes through the body here. So you kind of want to make sure you're not like swinging all the way into the boss. You can kind of prevent this like either by standing a little bit back or kind of swinging from a downwards angle. But just, you don't want to go too quickly into these chest eyes. The way I usually time this fight, if it goes the way I'm doing this fight, I basically break my, I get this first knife to really low health. I swap to the next fight, I do like 3-4 swings and then I switch to the front. And then I just finish the fight that way. Obviously here I'm already taking a lot of time just to explain, so this is gonna be completely scuffed. So I would just, normally just finish this fight. You can keep track of your knife health by, when you're holding your sub-weapon button. I'm holding my space bar, I'm tapping 2 at the same time. So while I'm knifing, I can keep track of the knife health, so I know when I need to swap to the next knife. So let's do this fight all the way to the beginning. From the beginning again, so we'll combine all of these things I'm explaining. So
Class A breach detected.
legs, 1, 2, 3, leg, 1, 2, 3, back up, swap the knife, go finish the shoulder eye, 1, 2, oh. So if you don't get the back eye in the first 2 swings, you gotta be ready to dodge, alright? Just a heads up. And that back eye knifing can be a little bit tough to get down to. So
Class A breach detected.
let's try this again. 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 2, 3. Back up. Drop the knife. Knife the shoulder eye. Wow. Things are going great, as we can see. It's a fight you want to practice, okay?
Class A breach detected.
Oh, wow.
Until target is neutralized.
Okay, we get a fucking knife crit on the leg eye. Jesus Christ.
Of a level 4 virus detected. Facility lockdown initiated.
You don't want to pop that eye on the first swing, otherwise it's really scuffed, alright? You want to just damage it a little bit on the first swing. 3 more swings after the eye pops. Swap the knife. And then you basically knife him. Basically get this first knife all the way down. And then I do this knife swap. I do like 3 more swings and I start switching to the front. And the knife angles I kind of like is aiming down here towards this leg, where the end of the knife swing is basically hitting the chest eyes here. But this is kind of like, depends on person to person. I did totally fuck up some of my knife swings. This fight itself is pretty tight overall. If you want to do it this way, the knife only.
Class A breach detected.
I was a bit slow on starting the knifing when I knocked him down, or after all the eyes got knocked. So it's important that you get on this knifing as soon as you can. I guess I should pull up like 4 swings on this. Okay, never mind. It's lovely to show this thing on a guide and then completely fuck it up all the time, eh? It's not an easy fight, alright? I did clip on the chest eye at some point in that fight.
Class A breach detected. Until target is
1,
neutralized.
2, 3. Oh, I did 1 full few swings, eh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got the chest eyes. Make sure you wide arcs around the chest as well. There we go. That's more like it. It's very hard to explain while you're pausing and doing it too. Exactly. Yeah, this is a fight you want to practice a lot. More often than not, if you have the 3.5 knives after this fight, you should have about 400, 300, depends. 400 to 300 knife durability left on your last knife, and this should be enough to finish the whole game. If you only had 3 knives going into this fight, you should be able to finish this fight just barely, assuming you do your knife swaps like very optimally on every knife being on low durability. It's doable, but it's a lot tougher. Let me actually should try it that way. So I know this is a bit different. If I didn't have this knife, and you can do it with 3 full knives only. It's just way more specific. I'm not quite used to this way of doing the fight, because I usually am kind of set on doing the knife swaps at very certain points. Like that. Whoops, I went seam overlay. Oops. Let's see, can I even do this fight at the moment? Okay, I still managed to do it even though I break the knife, but you know, 3 knives basically is enough, assuming you're like really optimally getting all the knife durability down on all the knives. Like these 2 knives are basically 28 durability, 45 durability, and the last 1 knife should be also like, I don't know, 10 or whatever. And you'd barely be able to do this with full 3 knives. But yeah. One more time. I'm gonna do it the way I prefer. So if you have the 3.5 knives, if your run is basically flawless-ish. Scuff swing on leg, B on the body. When you pop the leg, I do 3 more swings. Back up. Stop the knife. Or knifing the shoulder right. I'm actually sure did that hit the chest eye as I knocked him down. I'm curious. I didn't. Alright. So this way, if we had 3.5 knives left, I would still have enough knife left to finish this whole run. In case you don't have a knife left, you need about 300 durability to do this last section. So if your knife is like 1/3 or less than 1/3 durability left, then you need to pick up an extra knife. Then going around here, just make sure you kind of enter towards this button here. I've done a mistake where I kind of ran into the elevator from the far right side here, and it doesn't actually trigger the elevator. Just make sure you kind of get close to this button or whatever this thing is, the bracelet interaction thingy, so it starts the elevator. Assuming you've had enough bullets left, I have 6 bullets, which is perfect. We can use, you wanna have like 5-4 bullets for pistol manips. There's actually a heal here if you wanna pick it for safety. Burning can pick it up. From this cutscene, actually you hold A and S to get the correct line. And here's the knife if you need to pick it up. If you have 300 durability on your knife, you're still fine.
9 minutes until detonation. Use the safety elevator to evacuate immediately.
So here, actually, let me save here. So the way I do this, there's like, we do manips on these 2 upcoming IVs. The way you manip this one IV here, I basically, when I get into this elevator, I shoot between, there's like a railing here. I shoot between the railing above the IV. That timing usually always, pretty much always works with this IV. I don't know like what are the exact specifics of how this works. And after I've done that one shot between the railing there above this IV, I'm gonna shoot multiple shots. I'm gonna leave like 1 or 2 shots in case the next manip doesn't work, but I'm gonna shoot this canister here. It should manip the next upcoming IV here. So when I run here, shoot between this railing, and then I'm just gonna shoot here. So this IV should be sleeping around the corner, and this IV should pretty much always just sleep away. He can be a lot of different places, and I've actually had once in all of my playthrough ever of doing these manips, the second IV fail. Once ever. So it's pretty damn consistent. But, you know. If you wanna be at, like in this case, if you wanna be a bit more safe, you can equip like all of these almost broken knives in case you get grabbed. Because you really do need this last knife for this last bit of the run.
8 minutes until detonation. Attention, self-destruct.
Then we instantly go right. And once we're like, I guess you can basically time it. The moment Mr. X lands, I'm gonna stop there. I'm gonna start aiming at Mr. X to do the aim manip. Or you can kind of time it around like halfway point of this square here.
Is this a fucking joke?
Do the aim manip and just run past it.
Attention, self-destruct sequence initiated. Use the central elevator to evacuate immediately.
After this cutscene, we go basically forward. We press W and D, so forward and right at the same time, and do a shift boost. Go through the door. We pick up the modulator and yeah. Here, the moment. So the next upcoming boss fight is the last boss fight, the elevator ride. You basically need to stagger. You need to stagger Mr. or Super Tyrant 3 times, and then you just gotta wait and buy time. And the way to dance with Mr. X. So first of all, you kind of want to stick on the side of the arm that is not burning, and then you kind of like keep rotating around him in a sense. But we're gonna first do the staggers while I dodge him. I'll try to explain it as after I'm done all the staggers here. There we go. Also another thing, okay, I actually keep clicking Windows button here all the time. Another thing you want to make sure, you want to hit the upper body here. The lower body of this fight actually has a lot of damage resistance, so it's a lot harder if you swing a lot the way down. It's a lot better to try to swing at the top part here. Nice. Perfect. This is the longest stagger animation that can happen. And it's bad RNG, alright? Let me reload the save. Do this again. So now that we've done the 3 staggers, basically, I personally don't like running here at all. Basically just walk forwards every time he starts an attack animation. He rotates between fast and slow swings.
What is it with this?
The only exception is when he's near a rock. He sometimes will break the rock instead, especially if he's facing towards the rock. But yeah, now he's gonna go for a slow attack swing. Now he's gonna attack the rock. So in this case, if he's like really close after he's done the attack of a rock and he's facing towards the rock, he will break the rock. So you're gonna run away. And this is the only time I usually run at this fight. I'm gonna run away the moment the thing breaks, because this does a lot of AoE damage. When this happens, I run away. And then I run back in, position myself, get back into looping him into slow attack and fast attack. And normally, if you did this whole section without explaining, you can see the timer on top here. It'd be around 6:43. If you did the whole section flawless, without no mistakes, it'd be around 6:43 when the rocket launcher should drop. But obviously I've stopped and explained a lot of things during this fight, so timing when the rocket launcher drops is gonna be kind of weird. But this is a big rock, he won't break that whole rock there at all. It's only these small rocks he will go to break. Now again, he's near the rocks, I'm gonna run away. And then run back into the front. And just here, I'll just walk. Every time he does the attack, I just walk forwards. I gotta preempt it a little bit, because we know that he's basically, whenever you know he's gonna do the fast attack, just again a little bit preemptively walk forwards. Make sure they don't get hit by the fast attack. So after a while, you get the cutscene. And here is gonna be the rocket launcher pickup. There are two ways of doing it. One is basically running forwards, baiting attack, going backwards, and then picking up the rocket launcher, shooting him. And this is way, way, way more safer. Super safe. I really recommend, like, if you're learning this game, just do it this way. So run forwards when you skip this, run forwards, backwards, pick up this, and then just shoot him. You don't need to do any weapon swaps or anything. Once you pick up the grenade, the rocket launcher will be instantly equipped. So just aim and shoot afterwards. And he will die on one hit. On hardcore, it's 2 hits. The other way, doing that rocket launcher pickup, is basically... I personally, for safety's sake, I never do shift boost. So I just hold W and D in that last cutscene. And then the moment I basically I get control of Leon, I let go of the D. So it does kind of this curve to the rocket launcher. And just give you enough time to pick up the rocket launcher and then back up and then do the shot with the rocket launcher. So basically you skip on doing the whole dodge before picking up the rocket launcher. So we're gonna have to go through this whole fight to demonstrate that. Also, sometimes he staggers in a way where he turns towards you, like quite a bit, so you kind of want to make sure you don't get hit afterwards by repositioning yourself quickly. It's like sometimes when you stagger him, he like really turns towards you, and if you just keep holding the knife, you might get hit with high probability. Then another fight you just want to practice. Make sure you get it down. This whole run itself is just a lot of practice, practice, practice. Slow attack. No. So basically, about staggering this bot. When you first stagger him, you gotta wait until the stagger animation ends, until your knife swings matter for the next animation. You don't want to knife him all the time, even when he's staggered, it doesn't matter. So you want to make sure the moment the knife stagger animation ends, only after he's done with the whole animation you want to start knifing again. You don't want to constantly keep knifing the boss. Man, I should have said this at the very fucking beginning. Oh well. FMC4, thanks so much for saying that up, because I totally forgot. Also, when you're doing this juke, just make sure it's just a little bit on the front side, alright? If you're too much on the side, you know, shit like this can happen, okay? Shit like this. Okay, I'm in danger. I don't think I can do this thing that I was just explaining, this rocket launcher pickup, but...
Where did this thing come from?
Oh, actually you can do it, even on danger. But yeah. This is the riskier way of doing so. Basically holding W and D and shift. And the moment you get control, let go of the D. Pick up the the rocket launcher, back up and shoot. This is the risky, tiny bit faster way. But practice both. And basically with that we're at the end of the run. Obviously
Have arrived at the
you
bottom
don't want to
level.
be on danger here, but you know. And with that we're gonna wrap up this very long Leone standard rambling guide. 3 hours and 10 minutes, holy shit. Hopefully somebody actually gets anything out of this, alright? It's been a long explanation stream. And obviously, yeah. Hopefully there's something you can get out of this. It's not very beginner friendly. A lot of this stuff is mainly relating on like the world record strats and how to mimic a lot of the strats I'm doing on the world record run. But thanks for watching, guys.